All right, good morning, soccer fans. Welcome to the UWS Kickoff Show Playoff Edition. Yes, we decided to call it the Playoff Edition. I don't know. There's no better way to put it. It's playoff weekend. Lots going on. Megan Kaler joining me. Megan, how are you?
I'm good. It's nice to finally be joined by my co-hosts again. It was a very strange show being alone. Previous week I was hosting too, so I feel like this week I'm just going to sit back and coast and let you guys handle the business.
Well, there's no business to handle that's being handled on the pitch this weekend and next weekend in Ludlow, Massachusetts. Speaking of Ludlow and Scorpions aren't in Massachusetts. Kaler, what's going on, my man? How are you?
Couldn't have said it better myself. They are not in Massachusetts. Listen, I know I look exhausted, but I honestly, I am absolutely buzzing. A little spoiler for 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm super pumped for the West Chicago area high school matchup. So
High
this
school
little
matchup. High school.
it's happening there at West Chicago area high. My favorite team.
I thought you meant there was actually a high school
No.
matchup. I was like, my
No.
goodness, who's playing high school right now? Yeah, so Chicago Mustangs, KC Courage are going to be kicking off on 11 today. It's a big matchup. I'm really curious to see what happens. We've seen kind of the Mustangs handling business as they've walked along the line and really held their own, beating Corktown and St. Louis Scott Gallagher. It's gonna be interesting. I'm curious to talk with Candace and Wendy about if the Courage have what it takes to, or the courage to go to Chicago and take one away from the Mustangs.
Listen, I've been a stan all year long. They do. It's not even going to be close. It's going to be a blowout. Maybe, probably not. But in my heart, it will be, and that's all that matters.
Okay, that's been your team. That's been your go-to. What's your prediction?
I mean, I want to go full like fan and say it's going to be an easy like 5-0 win, but probably not. I mean, I'm more realistically, I think it's going to be a 2-1 win for the Courage.
Ooh, 2-1. All right. I bet you they'll take it. Megan, do you have a matchup that catches your eye? Is it the Copper Mine matchup maybe against Buffalo, or are you still on the Mustang Courage matchup?
Yeah, I mean, let's keep talking about this Mustang Courage matchup for a sec, because for me this is two like polar teams in a sense. Like, you've got the Mustangs, who are full on attacking side. They've posted 56 goals so far this season. I mean, that is just insane. You've got the UWS lead goal scorer on that team, Nina Niscosia, with 12 goals. That is not a side that you want to go up against, in my opinion. They are full of confidence, full of goals. They know that they can score in so many different ways. They've scored in those close tense games. They've scored multiple goals. They've scored bangers from outside the box. They've scored clean finishes. They've scored goals worked all the way from the defense. Like, I just feel like the Mustangs are going to go into this game with so much confidence, but I don't think they've come up against a side like KC Courage. The defense of KC Courage is so solid. And really, we know that because they've been playing in that Heartland division, which is so competitive. And that Courage back line has only conceded 4 goals. And in their last 5 games, they've conceded just 1. So they are in such solid form right now of being that solid back line, denying teams from getting through, getting shots on goal. And when they do get shots on goal, Kaylin Williams has been incredible between the sticks. So I don't know. This matchup for me, I half seeing it be a high scoring affair because you've got Chicago Mustangs and that's their reputation. But I also find it really difficult seeing that KC Courage back line being broken down.
Well, you know what? I know somebody who's got something to say about that, who has a little bit to do with the back line of KC Courage. We're going to bring on Candace Fabry from the KC Courage. Candace, live from Chicago. How are you?
I am good. I just got out of the shower. I'm actually at a camp the ODP Midwest girls camp right now. So I'm splitting my coaching duties between youth players, and it conveniently lined up very well that I'm in Rockford and then heading to the stadium this afternoon. So yeah, thanks for having me, and love your points. Making notes of them, guys.
So, Candace, a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Last year obviously was not the same as it was this year for the team. What was the difference coming into this season for Courage as it was as opposed to last year?
Honestly, not a lot different, and that might be somewhat of the contributing factor, is that players that participated in the program last year understood expectations. They understood the flow of what we're trying to do. Obviously, the addition of new players into the squad that bought into that culture, bought into the way that we train and we visualize and see success and want to play on the field. They were easily brought into that fold, adapted well, and just, I cannot thank for the summer I've had these players enough for just buying in. They bought in. Everyone bought in at every training session, at every match. And honestly, regardless of whether they knew they were going to play minutes or not, it was truly a number one to the bottom of the roster buying in every single day. And so I think really that consistency from season to season, expectations, managing those, and then, players just buying in, it made a big difference this season for us.
Megan?
Awesome. So a question that I have for you is kind of to going into this matchup today, you're coming from that Heartland division where every game has been so competitive. And then when you look at Chicago Mustang season, they've had a lot more results that have been very one-sided. Do you think that favors you in a sense because you've had those competitive games, or are you slightly concerned about how fatigued maybe your players are at this point in the season?
No, I see a few things. One, we had a week off. And so we were able to reset, rejuvenate, which I think gives us a huge advantage. The players were extremely energized at training this week. You could tell the excitement for the match. And I think that comes from they have had to compete. Every minute they have had to earn it. And that's been a lot of things or a lot of conversations this season is nothing is deserved. Everything is earned. And so they have that mentality. There is nothing walking in today saying, you deserve this championship. Everything has to be earned in every single minute. Mustangs, a ton of respect for, yes, how they attack and the goals they're scoring. They're pretty. Obviously, I don't want any of those on today happening, but certainly there's a lot of respect. And you know what? Honestly, I'm a Chicago kid. That's where I grew up. My hometown is not too far from where any of these matches are played. And so I know the Chicago kind of mentality. I live it every single day. I have that swagger. So I understand it. I respect it. But I certainly then know how to beat it, in my opinion.
Love
that.
it.
Taylor, what do you got?
So, obviously this team, I've not been shy that I really love watching this team.
Do you love watching this team?
I love watching this team. And
I love listening to you love watching this team.
There are two girls I really want to ask you about. First one is a girl that really caught my eye on defense, and that's Abigail Small. She looks ridiculous every time I watch her. I mean, what is she kind of like in training, and how does that kind of transfer on the pitch?
Abby is first and foremost a fantastic human being, and that really goes for every single one of them. But I've been able to create, I think, a good trust and rapport with Abby, particularly over the last couple of years. She is certainly a player that you want on your team. You don't want to have to play against, because she trains at 110% from the moment we step on to the moment we are done. But then she has such a calming personality off the field that she's just fun. And so you respect, the heck out of her on the field when she completely tackles the snot out of you, and you're, got dirt in your face. And then she's gonna laugh and juggle and, be the charismatic person that, you want to be the teammate of and you want to talk to. And so Abby's leadership this season definitely is a major contributing factor to the team. And, we certainly have, our rituals and ways that I'm involved in leading in ways I'm not, because really at the end of the day, I'm outside of those white lines and they're in it. And Abby has done a great job of helping that leadership of the team be consistent and be something that others are buying into. And so, yeah, she's a fun one. I feel fortunate that I actually get that opportunity to train. And, she's been invited into the KC Current environment a handful of times with the NWSL. So that experience alone to bring it within the UWS is really, I think, beneficial to her and the rest of the team for sure.
And the other player I was going to ask you about was, I mean, we've talked about the Mustang scoring ability, but you have a girl who can score with the best of them too, and that's Courtney Clausen. I mean, directly involved in 14 goals. But even then, what she does on the ball is not even the best part about her game. The amount of goals that you guys have scored with her not even being involved, where she's pulling defenders, pulling one or two people with just super intelligent runs. Have you really worked with a girl that is intelligent as her off the ball before? Because she seems like a completely different level from everybody else.
Her soccer IQ is incredibly high. She understands and makes decisions and reads the game at a level that is impressive. And certainly, as I want her to continue to play as long as she can, but I keep trying to throw the coaching bug at her. I don't know if I'll ever win that discussion at the end of the day. But certainly she is someone who thinks in several layers and can really contribute factors that she's anticipating faster and, in more depth ways than anybody else around her. And I think that's her X factor. You're playing against her and she's reading you way faster than you're ever probably making your own decisions, because she can read the cues better than most in this game. And yeah, it's impressive. I honestly watch her sometimes and I'm like, yeah, we should do what you just did a little bit more often, because she's teaching me, which I think is the great part of it. And again, Courtney is one of those other ones that just the personality, you don't want to play against her, you want to play with her, because she is a competitor. Every single little thing at training is about winning, and she's constantly giving ideas and constantly demanding more of her teammates. And then she's off the field. We had a huge soccer ball that Wendy, our owner, won at the convention and brought to training the other day. And Courtney's the first one, like, let's go juggle with it. Let's play rondos with it. And so she's just, she's going to bring others in. And so I think that part is huge, is because her success is never about what Courtney does. And she is so humble about it. And we're always like, dude, come on. Like you're ready for the 3-on-1 and her ankle's getting hacked. And she's ready for it. And she's saying, bring it every single time. And so you've got to appreciate, again, that personality that contributes to a really good on-field player.
It is a giant ball. I actually got in trouble for dribbling around the convention.
It is huge. It was fun to watch. And we did take some PKs with it just to see what it was like at the end of the day.
Any top bins? Any top bins?
No, Kaylin's a beast. Kaylin is a beast in goal.
She just puts her hand out and just like grabs it. But she's got paws, man. She's able to knock down everything. And I think that's the thing that sets you guys apart. You played in a division with the Heartland that essentially I was calling it the Pac-12 football division of soccer, because it was so difficult. Nobody wanted to win it. It seemed like, because everybody was just so stacked with talent. Everybody wanted to play as hard. Every game was a playoff match for that division. What's it going to take today, Candace, to get over that hump so we can see you guys in Ludlow?
Yeah, next weekend would be my only weekend off this summer, so that is an interesting fact of like, I really would like to not have a weekend off. And so for me, on that personal side, making decisions to try to get that weekend there would be great. But, I think for our squad, it's playing to the principles we've been playing all year long, staying disciplined, staying compact, keeping things in a stylistic way that we know we have success in. And then certainly managing the speed and the tenacity of the Mustangs offense. But with Kalen in goal and our back line being as solid as they are, midfield is looking healthy and strong and wanting to contribute. And then with Raf and Emily Key up top, I call her Raf. We've got a squad that just is excited to be here. We're making history for this club. This season has meant more than just what's happening on the field. Wendy, our owner, lost her daughter, unfortunately, last November. And so this has been a season that, honestly, we just focused on being humans. How crazy is that? We focused on just being good humans and making the game fun, and look how far we got. And I think none of that's going to change today. It's all about enjoying the moment, enjoying the experience, and keeping those principles that have got us here. But certainly, I think the change will be the fact that we are disciplined, and we'll see if Mustangs can manage that discipline for 90 minutes. So.
And see, we will, as you guys get ready to play at 5 p.m. Central Time in Chicago, live on 11. Candace, thank you so much for your time. I know you have ODP training to get to, and we don't want to take any more of your time. Good luck today, and we will see you on the pitch and hopefully in Ludlow next weekend.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
All right, Kaylor, what's your prediction now? Is it still 2-1?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this KC Courage team is better than St. Louis Scott Gallagher. And that's a team that really, really gave the Mustangs a run for their money. This is a better squad with a better defense who does, like I said, have a player that can bang in goals with the best of them too. So this feels like a 2-1 win to the KC Courage.
Megan, what do you think? Does this match, does it have a lot more to it than just a soccer match? Is this something that can put kind of, I don't know, as a player perspective, playing in the UWS League 2, how important is this to showcase talent? How important is it to win one of these kinds of matches? I mean, you guys just beat Jacksonville last week, which was essentially like a playoff game. What does it take? What does it mean to these women who are playing?
I mean, it means everything. This is an incredible opportunity for every single player that's going to be stepping into a playoff game this weekend. But at the same time, I think that the mentality of players in the UWS is so calm and professional. And so these players are not going to be going into this game with over nervousness or over anxiety. I think that they're going to be taking everything in their stride. We've had the opportunity to speak to a lot of coaches this year, and it really feels like everybody is just embracing that professional environment and really instilling in their players that you are good enough to be here. And that's kind of what we had at Unity, where it was like, we are good enough to compete with Jacksonville. Don't be scared. This is an incredible opportunity. Go in there, prove yourself amongst some of the best players, and just do it. And I think that we're seeing this so many times, that in games where we're like, this is a huge matchup, what's going to happen? And we just see teams rising to the challenge again and again. And I think that's what makes this playoff weekend, and then the national championship too, so incredibly exciting.
Kayla, is there a difference in kind of mentality? Can you overthink a playoff game and go in thinking that, you know, have a different mindset and it actually affect you in a negative format, a negative way?
I mean, for sure. I mean, everything is going to be overthinking on every single level. This is, while 11 is awesome, right? Where we can watch every single match, break down film. It's not like we're sitting in a top five club in Europe, right? Where you can get every single angle, every single thing that you could ever want, all the data you could want. You're really going off what you can get off 11, which is still great. And you're also having to figure out, is that team as good as a team in my division, even though we've never seen that team before ever? You're trying to go off of assumptions. And I think it's very easy to overthink it as a coach. as a player, I think you're just relying on your coach and your captain of the club to say, hey, play our game. We're going to do the dang thing, and let's just go out and play. As a coach, you're just trying not to pep it, and go into the final and, bottle it. So I think you're going to see more overthinking coming from the sidelines than you will on the pitch.
Speaking of 11, hey, Megan, we're going to be live next weekend from Ludlow doing the semi and the final. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be insane. Like, I remember watching last year from, Florida thinking, I just want to be there. Like, I'm doing all the coverage, but I'm from Florida. Like, I want to be immersed in the environment, and I'm on my way, Boston.
Here we are. You're in Florida. I'm in California, and we'll probably be two of the pastiest people that are going to be at that venue because I don't tan. I burn. I don't know about you. You're English. I don't know how it works. I'm Scottish. I go red, and I go red because I burn really easily.
Yeah, I'm training my skin. I like to say I'm training my skin up, and the tan is coming slowly. So don't judge me when I'm pale, because in 10 years' time, I will be tanned.
I think I'm just gonna use some self tanner. I'm gonna cheat, and we're gonna make it happen. Because look, we're gonna have probably 11,000 people over the weekend paying attention to 11. Hopefully, we get more. We'll figure it out. I'd like to do a little giveaway, see how many people we can get to join us on 11, but we'll see. Listen, so the next part of this matchup, obviously we've talked with Candace Fabry from KC Courage, but we're about to have Coach Dino on from Chicago Mustangs. FC Buffalo texted me this morning. They're going to try to make it on later, but they're trying to get themselves prepared for the matchup with Copper Mine. So we're going to have a potential training session to get ready. So we'll see what happens there. I'm excited. That's going to be a good matchup. But let's look at that matchup. So we got FC Buffalo, Copper Mine playing each other. Copper Mine, obviously, last day of the year, beating Lancaster Inferno to get to this opportunity. And then yesterday, beating the last year's runner-up, CT Fusion, for an opportunity. And Buffalo, I'm not going to say this out loud, but I'm going to say it out loud. I'm surprised they got by Mutiny. I thought Mutiny was one of the teams to watch this year. Was really expecting, because they're the host team for Ludlow. I was really hoping that they were going to come out because they had the home field advantage. It was the way to go, but they came up short. FC Buffalo coming in and saying, nope, we're gonna make up for last year's miss. Kaylor, what do you think about that matchup?
I mean, kind of looking at the Mutiny match, it feels like this is another case of how competitive were these divisions, right? I mean, Fusion's a good squad, obviously, but you start kind of looking past that. It's like, well, were they as good as we thought? And for FC Buffalo, this is a team that I really, really believe in. I think they're going to be very competitive. One thing that I've loved that they've done all year, almost every single one of their players on their pretty massive roster has significant minutes. So they all have game time. It doesn't matter who's on the bench. It doesn't matter. They're going to go out there and they're going to compete because they know how.
Is too much playing time a bad thing, Megan?
I mean, it can be in a sense. Too much can mean that you're fatigued or potentially that you've been moved around position. Like maybe you have so much playing time because the center mid got injured, and so even though you were starting as the center back, you had to get moved there. And so you've been kind of all over the place, just trying to make up for somebody else in the team who maybe couldn't play. So it could be, but more often than not in the UWS, from what I've seen, the players who have the higher playing time are those players who are, they make it into that starting 11 and they're not going to shift out of it. And so they are fit enough and strong enough to handle 90 minutes week in, week out.
Well, we had the opportunity to talk to Candace Fabry from KC Courage about the matchup today. But we also have EJ and Sammy who are joining us from Chicago Mustangs. EJ and Sammy, good morning, you two. How's everything going?
Good morning. We're doing great. How are you?
Good. EJ, everything going good on the goalkeeper side of things, yeah?
Yes, sir. We're staying busy. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Sammy, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So you guys have a big matchup today. KC Courage coming to Chicago. First off, what's the season been like for you guys?
It's been exciting. We've enjoyed the recently tough matchups between Scott Gallagher, Michigan Hawks, Corktown, and now with KC Courage. These are the games that our head coach Dina loves. We have to prepare a certain way for them. This is the games that players enjoy because it's going to be high level, fast paced, and there's something on the line. It's win or go home time, and I think we all as players enjoy those moments.
Before I move over to Megan and Kaylor here, Sammy, what's last year expectations kind of came short. I think there was a lot in the building with Chicago Mustangs to advance to the national championship weekend. What's it like to have another opportunity to potentially participate in Ludlow, Massachusetts?
Yeah, now that there's kind of an experience on the other side of things, I think there's more of like a motivation within the players and the coaching staff. There's just more of this like drive to kind of prove, because the players do know that they do have a lot of potential and stuff. So just trying to put all the pieces together. Last year did fall short. So that was, in our opinion, like that learning ground, learning the landscape, figuring out kind of the adjustments we need to make as players, but also as a coaching staff. So it's definitely a motivator, I think, to kind of push to get to that other side and stuff. Trainings have been very intense. Even games have been intense and stuff. So just kind of preparing for those, that one moment that is going to matter a ton, which I think tonight's going to be a great game.
Megan?
So I'm going to put to you a similar question that I put to Candace. Now, going into this game, you guys have come from a division where you had quite a lot of one-sided results. And in comparison, KC Courage coming from that Heartland division, every game was very competitive. Do you see that as an advantage to you, maybe having a bit more energy? You haven't had quite such a intense long run of a season. Or what did you do in those one-sided games to ensure you were prepared when these big moments came up?
I think those one-sided games kind of helped us in a way, preserve the bodies of our players, being able to go 18 deep, even tapping into the reserve team from time to time when needed. But these last few games have been intense. Scott Gallagher comes to town, who we beat and tied early in the season. So it's kind of the trilogy at that point. And then Michigan Hawks, coming back against us, giving us, run for our money there. I think we're battle tested. I think we're ready. A lot of our girls, play top level Division I soccer. Even some are on the youth national team, so they're used to these kind of things. And then KC Courage has been in a lot of tight games, like you've said, the score lines, 1-goal wins, all that good stuff. I think it's going to be a good matchup for both sides. We're definitely not underestimating anyone. We know we had some one-sided affairs, but at the same time, we know that once you get to the playoffs, it's anyone can beat anyone. That's how it goes.
Yeah, definitely from like a different perspective and stuff. Our training environment, in our opinion, has been very intense as well. So our reserve team has done an excellent job kind of stepping up and really pushing that intensity that we need, that challenge. So it's been nice with preserving the bodies and stuff, but it's also given us some time to kind of work out kinks, but also like really master the kind of style that we want to play. So kind of giving that, like the advantage part of that, that's definitely been one of the pluses that the coaching staff has realized. And then obviously the negative is the speed of play that we would like to play to. We only played to probably with Scott Gallagher in the opinion of like the coaching staff and stuff. But from the advantage, like the players are, to be completely honest, a different level in the sense of what I've been used to is typically when you fall back to seasons, sometimes teams get this awkward split and they get this awkward like, oh, like this game doesn't really matter kind of persona. But the players that we have done an excellent job, like holding their expectation high, like pushing through those tough games, more mentally tough games than physically tough. So to me, it's been very impressive to see our team kind of come together and hold that standard for each other.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You talk about the mental side of it to ensure that you're locked in for that full 90 minutes when maybe the game is telling you don't need to be, and the fact that you have. And we see that because of the score lines not just being like 7 or 8, you take it all the way. So you're clearly playing that full 90 minutes. So that's really interesting. And yeah, it's going to be a really interesting, good test tonight. And we're all very excited for it.
Kayla?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of mentioned, both of you kind of mentioned the trainings and, having players from all over everywhere. That's something when I kind of decided to look at the roster preseason that stood out to me, and it still does. You guys have pulled from pretty much everywhere, including, from my, dirty South. It's been great. I really enjoy just kind of watching all those different kind of styles whenever it comes to training and talking to each other. How has different philosophies kind of formed into one big one?
Our head coach Dino does a great job of what he wants with the style of play. Majority of the season we did a 3-back. We're very heavy possession base, going third to third to third to score goals. Like you said, we have all these amazing athletes from different universities, different backgrounds, to where we're asking to play a different style to succeed. And I think in the beginning of the season, people were like, oh, why don't we just go more direct? And then the score lines just start showing. If we outpossess opponents, that's less opportunities for them. The more we control the flow of the game, the more opportunities we will create on our own. And it's such a unique style to me. And the players have done a great job adapting. We've had no bad apples. Honestly, I know it's tough to say, but no one has ever spoken out against our style within our roster. They've all adapted to the situation, and it has showed that this kind of style can work at a high level, and that we don't always have to be direct. But again, that goes back to Dino and then his coaching staff, me, Sammy, Nino, and Ricky. We've all listened to him, and we're preaching what he wants us to preach, and it has paid off.
Yeah, it's been interesting with Dino because he is a very high level coach. So he's also done an amazing job bringing the coaching staff and the players together. His main word that kind of just keeps floating in our sessions is adaptable, which he mentioned it. But that's been kind of the biggest thing because Dino talks to the girls and basically just tells them, look, I know some come from top D1 schools, some come from lower level NAIA. We have a range of everything. But he does a great job kind of bringing it together, showing them what his purpose is, what he wants to do, what we're trying to do. And I think, honestly, the style of play we play would not be successful if we did not have that great communication from him. So that's kind of also allowed coaches to come in and help, but also find their place. So each coach on our staff also has a very distinctive role of what we want. So Dino has done a great job kind of puzzle piecing the whole team together, and he has thought very deeply into how he wants it to flow, how he wants it to go. So he's definitely been the driving force of our style, especially with us being able to advocate for it. So it's been awesome. But the main word that we've kind of been stressing the whole season is adaptable, and allowing the girls to know, we're going to use your strengths to fill our system. So we just kind of have to play to this level and stuff. But yeah.
EJ, you guys, as the goalkeeper coach, you guys have not had conceded a lot, and from games that I've watched, you haven't had a whole lot of action. How do you prepare players and keepers for courage, knowing that they might see a few more shots than they normally see on a regular game day?
So actually, we have another coach, Ricky. Ricky's our goalkeeper trainer. I serve as one of the field assistant coaches this year. I know it's weird because of my Instagram name.
Well, it's weird. You are a keeper extraordinaire, and I'm throwing back now. I'm throwing back.
Yeah, I know. I throw a curveball. I'm sorry, but yeah, Ricky actually is he's the guy. I mean, the way he's handling these goalkeepers day in and day out. There's days where he has very controlled, moderate sessions to get him back into technique form. And then there's days where he goes at him. He gets him going, gets the blood pressure going. As a goalkeeper, you might only be called in action that one time a game for 2 seconds, and he makes sure that they're ready for that moment. He likes to preach that the keepers are involved the whole time. I'm an advocate the same way. Our keepers have to be talking the whole game. If we're, like you said, we're 5-6-0, doesn't mean we stop talking. We have to be organized. We have to stop transitions. We can help the team score goals if we just talk a little bit more. But that's Ricky. He's been the man this season. Every goalkeeper we've had in net, because if you look at the roster and the minutes, we've had probably 3, 4, even 5 different starting goalkeepers this season. And they've all done a fantastic job. And again, this goes back to the coaching staff. When Ricky prepares them in trainings, then they come to Dino and myself for, implement them into the session. And they're just ready. And I think that goes back to our sessions are so intense because of the talent we have. It's prepared us for what's to come.
Well, throw me for a loop. But hey, last question, and we'll let you guys go. what's it going to take to make sure you guys punch your ticket to Ludlow?
We got to come out strong. The start we had against Michigan Hawks / Corktown was top class, up 3 goals, right away. But now we need to paint the full picture to where we need to be locked in mentally, as Sammy has said, that we can't give their team hope. We've watched film on them. We've seen some highlights, and we know which players we need to watch out for. We kind of have a feel for their style. And at the end of the day, the coaching staff and the players have to follow our game plan to where if we do what we need to do, we'll come up on top and go to the national championship game, something we're all looking forward to. But we just got to stay mentally locked in and play for a full 90 minutes, and we can't fall asleep for anything.
Yeah, the best thing, too, about the style that we play is it preaches adaptability so much. So I'm just so confident in our team just because I know no matter who we play or what we're given, we do have the skills to adapt to that style of play. So it's coming out strong, but also having the ability to adapt right away that we've been training for so much. So the first half is probably going to look completely different than the second half because this league is incredibly good at obviously switching formations around, figuring out what team plays with, this formation better. But adapting to the situation at hand, I think, is going to be one of our strengths, which will help us a ton. So just super trustworthy in our girls and stuff and our coaching staff. And we're just excited. So we're pumped.
Well, as excited as you should be. Tonight, 5 p.m. Central. Good luck, you two. Wish you guys the best of luck, and hopefully we'll see you in Ludlow in a week's time.
Thank you so much. Guys. Have a good one.
Cheers, y'all. All right, Chicago. Kaylor, any changes to your thought process? Are you still going 2-1 Courage?
Yep. Look, it's no disrespect to the Mustangs whatsoever. They have been very, very impressive. It's just I see Courage as just up here. I still think that they're a top 2 team in the country. So it's no disrespect to Mustangs. I think they're in the top 5. So we'll see. It's going to be a dang good one.
Well, hey, let's bring on our next guest, Coach Val from Coppermine. Coach Val, good morning, my friend. We've tried to connect, but you're always so busy, man. You gotta stop doing this to me, buddy.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me on the show.
So, hey, Val, I gotta ask first off, coming from UWS League 2 last year to UWS League 1, I've been on the Coppermine bandwagon since you and I had an opportunity to converse in January. What's it been like? Has it become real knowing that you've come up from the UWS League 2 to UWS 1 and really held your own and proved that you guys are capable of doing this?
Well, obviously it's been, a great season for us. I mean, our conference is extremely competitive, and, we knew that moving up to, League 1 would be a massive challenge to us. So obviously we had to, bring a few different players that could compete at this level. The core of the group is still there. We added maybe 8 to 10 new players, but so far we've been blessed to have a good season. We're just gonna see how far we can go.
Megan?
Yeah, I think everybody is on the Coppermine train. How can you not? The story is just incredible to come up from your debut season in League 2, win that, come into the UWS 1 and just have an epic season, taking it all the way down to that final game of the season and come out with a huge win. And then your last game last night, taking it all the way into extra time and scoring that goal. What is the mood at Coppermine right now? Are you just exciting and taking everything in the stride? Is there nerves going into this because you didn't get that experience of having a playoff in that first season in UWS 2?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I mean, there's a lot of buzz going around in Baltimore. Our fan base is excited. The players are excited. The last 2 games, we've had a great crowd. And I think, the players are starting to realize that it's possible to go to the Final Four. And I think, a massive win against Lancaster at Lancaster to clinch the conference title, was huge for us. And I think after that point, the team started really gelling even more, and they started believing that it's possible to continue this beautiful journey. I think, last night's win was important to us. Obviously, it's our first playoff game, but knowing the result that Buffalo won at New England Mutiny before a match started, I think that even gave us even more confidence because we knew if we won, we would host the final. So that was one of our big, key points to go out in the game and try to get that W.
Kaylor?
Look, it would be so off-brand for me to not ask. I mean, Taylor Carter. That's someone who I've watched for a while now. I've yet to miss a match down at the University of Alabama. She is just an absolutely incredible player. And whenever I have watched Coppermine, it feels like sometimes she is kind of the glue in the midfield. Is that kind of a similar thought process and kind of what you guys have seen as well from coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, I've known Taylor since she was 12 years old. I used to do private sessions for her. And then, she did a lot of futsal as well, but she's been improving year after year. And, her playing at Alabama at a higher level, she's ready. She's a all-around complete player. She's actually helping us a lot playing it in the back a couple of games, but in midfield, she's comfortable with the ball. She can whip that service in, but she's a great player for us in the midfield that she can attack, she can defend, and like I mentioned earlier, she's an all-around player. She's outstanding for us.
I do have another question for you real quick. Obviously coming up this year, I said it a couple weeks ago that maybe the gap between the two leagues is not as big as a lot of people want to believe it is. And after coming up, was the culture around the locker room just like, yeah, we'll run it back. We'll do the dang thing again. It wasn't even a question, or was it like, okay, let's be a little bit, cautious. This is a different league, or is it just run it back, babe?
Well, when I first started putting this roster together, obviously our goal is always to try to be as successful as possible. And even one of our coaches last night, during our halftime, he said that, when we put a roster together, it's to try to go all the way. And that's been always our model at Coppermine. We just try to put the best group of players together that we trust, that we know can do the job and believe in each other to try to go all the way. I mean, obviously playing at this level, involves a lot of different things, but, the main priority is, can we put a group of players that can compete at this level and be able to, have a Cinderella story type thing. This feels like almost like, college basketball season, that here we come from, second division up, and we're grinding, we're working, we're making our way into the league, and that's what we want. And we appreciate everyone that's been supporting us lately because, it's good to know that people, have Coppermine United on the radar, and we just enjoy being here.
Val watched the Lancaster game, and it's like you guys made an adjustment at halftime. That adjustment was Naya Christopher. Her pace and her ability to find just a little bit of space to create an opportunity. What's it like to have a forward who's got that much pace and has the ability to find holes in the defense to kind of clear and create opportunities? Megan was at work, and I'm like, this is gonna get interesting real quick, and then all of a sudden, boom! Next 5 seconds, she gets a text message, 2-0. What's it like?
Yeah, so funny story that Nia actually played for me, for U17, U18, and she was the key piece for our U18 girls team that we were missing to go all the way. So the moment she joined the team, our team changed completely, and we won the national title at U18 in 2018, 2019. But Nia is a fantastic player. I mean, she's very crafty. The pace she has, the first touch, the quality that she can get behind defenders, it's just amazing. The opportunities that she gets each game is, extremely high. So, we have a depth roster. So obviously when we make some adjustments, like you mentioned, it was to kind of bring the extra spark and extra energy off the bench, and he had just provided that to us.
Well, Coach, I got to ask one last question, and we'll let you go because I know you got probably training this early morning here. What's it going to take to punch your ticket to head north to Ludlow?
Well, I know Ludlow very well because I grew up in New England. I played at that stadium many times when I used to play for USL. So it would be beautiful to go back as a coach and try to, make it to the Final Four. But, we just have to continue to be humble, respect the other teams, and continue to believe and work hard and grit and just believe in each other. I think that's the key to make it all the way. And by the way, today is my day off.
There you go.
So many days, so I'm going to enjoy it.
I was going to say, you haven't had a day off probably since January, my friend.
I've had a day off since I came to America, to be honest with you.
Well, hey, Coach, keep working. We'll see you tomorrow live on 11. Good luck, and hopefully we'll see you in Ludlow, my friend.
Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
All right. What are your thoughts here, Megan?
Well, I just want to add, if you are not following Coppermine on Instagram, they're Coppermine United, you need to follow them. They are an awesome club. The community engagement that they had, like after their game last night, signing autographs, interacting with like the children that came to the game. I mean, they are just doing everything they can to grow women's soccer, and it's amazing. So aside from their incredible story, they are also giving back to their community. What a club. Definitely follow them. Give them the support they deserve because, yeah, I'm rooting for them because I think that their story is incredible. It's like Leicester coming up and winning the Premier League,
Because Watford can't do it.
That was bad connection. I didn't hear what you said.
Kaylor, you've been the prognosticator this morning with the 2-1 for Courage. What's your thoughts here? FC Buffalo and Coppermine, my friend.
God, this one's hard. I feel like this is always what I do. I get invested in a storyline, and I just really want to go gung-ho into it. I'm really believing in the magic of Coppermine, but, how far does magic get you? I don't know. This is a really good FC Buffalo team. They handle business. That's just kind of what they do. They show up, they do the dang thing, they leave. And I just don't know. This one, if I was allowed to pick a draw, if it wasn't playoffs, that's what it just feels like. But that's not how this game works.
No.
I don't know.
He's just hoping both teams have a good time. He's like the guy from College Game Day holding the sign in the background. I just hope both teams have a fun opportunity. Listen, I've been on Coppermine, and I've seen a lot. I've seen kind of the adjustments they've made during the season, and I've also seen FC Buffalo. FC Buffalo was in this position last year. FC Buffalo dropped the ball last year. No offense to Nick and the staff there, but they had essentially gone through the league, stormed it, and they had a hiccup. Does that hiccup happen again tomorrow? I don't know. Do I want to see that hiccup happen because I've been on the Coppermine wagon? Yeah. But will it? I don't know. There's a difference in how teams show up during playoff time. You can have the nerves. You could have the legs. It's just a matter of what goes next. We'll see.
This is something interesting that I don't feel like a lot of people paid attention to. This is a weird storyline. These are two teams that finished in their division tied on points. It's something bizarre. It's just, technically Coppermine finished second on goal difference. FC Buffalo finished, I don't even know what they went down on because they're tied on goal difference. It's one of those situations that these are two teams that played incredibly tough footy all year long. They were having to compete every single match. Every single match was a playoff game because if they dropped 1 point, they wouldn't even be here. It's incredible.
Well,
yeah, it's very interesting. And something I also want to talk about in that game last night, FC Buffalo. Has anybody seen the opening goal that FC Buffalo scored? Because let's just talk about that for a moment. It started all the way back from the goalkeeper. It was just beautiful. And I feel like as a player, for me, if I were just watching that footage back, just that goal alone would give me so much confidence to go into this game tomorrow. I think that their game against New England Mutiny might have made them more fired up, I guess, for this matchup on Sunday, because I think that was a huge win for them. I think that the goals that they scored in those high pressure moments were just what needed to happen, and they took care of business. Then we look at Coppermine having to go all the way into overtime. It took a goal from distance for them to break down, and it was a banger. Like, I'm not taking anything away from the goal, but they weren't able to work the ball all the way from the back and create a goal scoring opportunity and seal the deal and get that goal. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. It really is.
You know what you just did? Coach Val had a day off today. You just made it so he doesn't take a day off. He's going to be looking at that goal and trying to get going. But hey, let's move on. We've got Coach Lee Tucker from the West Conference champion Calgary Foothills Football Club. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good, Jonathan. Yourself?
You know, it's another day here on the West Coast, the best coast, and I'm ready to get out to Ludlow. I'm actually traveling east. I'm not going south, but
okay.
So yesterday Calgary had posted they were heading south, and I'm like, wait, aren't they just going east? But apparently they go south, or is it southeast?
Well, yeah. Anytime, obviously, we come from Canada to America, it's south first, and then wherever we need to get to next. So yeah, southeast this time.
I had to be the smart aleck of the group. But Coach, listen, you guys have had a couple of days off now and able to kind of regroup or reorganize yourselves just a little bit. What's the preparation been like for next weekend with pretty much a 2-week break? How are you guys preparing for Ludlow?
Yeah, so our group's sort of split now as such. So we've got lots of players that have gone back to their respective universities and started their training program. And you know, I'm in contact with them, so I know what they're doing. We had a couple players go off to national team camps, so they've been busy in their own right. And then we have our core group that we're still training with here in Calgary. And ultimately, right now, it's just keeping going and making sure that we're healthy and ready to go next week.
Megan?
Now, we talk about this West Conference because last year the West Conference just kind of came out of like nowhere because of that. The COVID delayed the schedule. And when we saw SC Blue Heat at the national championship, we were like, whoa, this team is legit. And the West Conference this year has been even more competitive. Obviously, you took down national championship side twice. So my question is, when you look at these other conferences and who you're going to be playing against in the national championship, do you have an air of confidence because you feel that the West Conference is a step above, or do you think that there's other conferences you are like, this is going to be really tough matchups for us?
Well, I think naturally when you get to a national championship, you just expect every team to be at the highest level. I think it's for other people to decide whether our conference is perceived to be better than, you know, anyone else's. I think the facts are there that we beat the national champions twice, and we actually tied them last year. And, you know, if we'd had a chance to play in Canada last year, then maybe it would have been us that went to the championship last year. But, you know, that didn't happen. But this time around, we hit the ground running and just kept that going. Being really honest, I've not looked at the other conferences because our focus has just been on ourselves. We realized partway through the season we had a chance to create a historic moment for our club, which A, to go unbeaten, and then B, actually, could we win every game? So, you know, we really focused on that and one game at a time. And once this is all sort of done over the weekend, I'll start to look at who are the actual teams that have qualified, and we'll build out our game plans from there.
Yeah, it's interesting. Speaking to Maya last week, she said the same thing. Like, you know, we're not really looking at the other teams. We're just focusing on us. I posed her the question of, is there a team that you are worried to play or that you would like to play? And she's like, we'll take on anyone. So I get the same vibe from you, which is awesome. Shows that consistency throughout the players and the coaching staff. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think that's probably the word we'd use. We have a great deal of self-belief in our group. So yeah, I think naturally, once you have the season we've had and some of the results and performances we've had, it's who's next. So yeah, we look forward to that.
Before we get to Kaler, Coach, I have to ask, and this might burn a little bit. It goes back to 2019. You guys had an opportunity to play and win a national championship, losing to a team that was formerly in our league, LA Galaxy.
Yeah.
What's it going to take this year to ensure that Calgary has this opportunity to take the trophy home to Canada now?
Well, I think thinking back to that game, first of all, it was settled by a goal from a player that I think about 6 weeks ago scored in the Champions League final. So, that didn't play in the season and turned up in the final. So, hopefully that doesn't happen. But, again, we go into it feeling confident, knowing that all teams are going to be at the highest level. We're just going to have to be ourselves, play our way, and then, we'll do the work to ensure we have the best opportunity to come out with the wins.
Kaler?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got 2 questions for you. First one, is it time to finally start calling this an international championship? I think, obviously you've been there, done that. So, I mean, time to call it international, right?
Yeah, our messaging right now is, we are Canada's representative, and we're coming down to the States, and our aim is to come back with a national championship. So, yeah, I think we add the international feel or flavor as such, and obviously we've got 2 teams in Alberta, so why not?
And kind of the second question is kind of going back to what you said earlier with, playing in this situation before, kind of understanding what's going on and making it all the way to the finals. As a coaching staff and as some players who are still here, how much coaching is happening with the players who maybe were not involved with the club then? Is it we've been here, don't worry, we got this? Or is it kind of like we know what it takes to get there and now we know what it takes to win?
That's a great question. I would say that the overriding piece that drives it for us is the culture. And then I'd say the second part is they're all champions in their own right. So if you actually look through their sort of history or careers from youth level into senior level at universities and things, they are winners. So, ultimately they've done it before. Again, we've shown that we can put it together as a group of players. So now it's just, can we control those emotions and actually focus on what we need to do in the games?
So, Coach, travel to Ludlow. What's the schedule look like over the next few days? Do you guys go early to acclimate? Do you kind of just come in on Friday and get ready for Saturday? How are you guys preparing for Ludlow?
We'll take the same routine. So we'll travel on Friday, and then we'll be into Ludlow on Friday, early Friday evening, and then that'll give us a chance to just rest, and the next morning we'll go and do a light training session before we then head into the game at I think 4 or 7 o'clock on Saturday.
Well, Coach, I'm excited to see you guys. I know you guys are excited for this opportunity. Megan and I will be there live on 11 all week, and then on YouTube and Twitter doing shows with you guys and kind of interacting as we go. But we'll see you Friday at the dinner, and hopefully everything on Saturday plays out and we're able to commentate and have a conversation Sunday as well. Coach, congratulations, and we'll see you in Ludlow.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Have a great weekend.
Coach. You too.
Thanks.
Look, I can't say anything bad about the West Coast, because if you go back and you look at the way the league has stepped up, the last few winners have come from the West Coast as it relates to UWS. So we'll see. What do you guys think about Calgary's opportunity and chances heading into to next weekend?
I think that this 2-week break for them, I was speaking to Maya last week, is something that they are really excited for, because it allows them that time to rest. They had a very competitive intense season in that West Conference. And so they've got this time to refresh their body, get some recovery in, and also focus on what needs to be focused. And he mentioned that some of them have gone back to college, but will be returning for that national championship. Have no fear. This is going to be the Calgary side that we're used to seeing. And so I have full confidence in them that they're going to turn up and they're going to be ready for it. I think that they're an extremely exciting team. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see the West Conference with the championship title again.
If you look at the way the league has stepped up every year, but 2018 has had a West Coast representative. The last time somebody other than a West Coast representative won the national championship for UWS was in 2018 with the Houston Aces, coming out of the South Conference. Now, coming from the South Conference, having some bragging rights, hopefully, for 2018. Hashtag unfinished business. I want to welcome Leland Hammonds to the show. And also Katie, who is jumping on as well. She heard the Athenians were on, so she had to jump on, apparently. So here's Katie and Coach Leland Hammonds. Coach, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Oh, we're doing great. I love that you always have me following some well-spoken, awesome coach and everything. Now I can bring it back down a little bit and make it a little bit more realistic here. So go ahead. And now you have Katie. Thanks a lot. Now professional media right there also and everything. Should I just leave? I don't know.
Ouch, what are you
Get
saying
out
about
of here.
us?
You're an incredible talker. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. You got all the good points, man. Get out of here.
Okay, keep gassing me up. I'll stay.
he makes it sound like Megan Kaler and I can't hold the fort down. Katie with the professionalism. Like, come on, man.
I thought it went without saying. Pardon me.
Hey,
To be fair, I can't.
I'd be nothing without you three up here. Let's just say that. Like, you've got game notes from, I don't even know where you're pulling these reserves, this information from. Like, I'm just all over the place. I've got way too much going on. So, yeah, these guys are 100% the professionals.
I could do without the extra fake football stuff in the background, though, the Cowboys, and we should just throw that off, and then hide the Cowboy flag. We're out. Yeah. Hey, Coach. First off, good morning.
I'm not a Cowboy fan either, so
that's all right. So, hey, Coach, good morning. Hey, listen. So before we get started, kind of hashtag unfinished business of sorts, right? We have a default opportunity. I'm not trying to belittle the opportunity that you guys have to go to Ludlow. You know, the last 2 weeks have been extremely stressful for you as a coach, with players having to head back to college, and you and I have spoken on this off record. What's it going to be like heading to Ludlow with probably a limited squad, or some people able to join you who have already headed out back to college?
Well, we're really excited. We had it was a lot of work to work with these colleges and just kind of let them know what the schedule's like and what the possibilities were. It was more difficult because there's a lot of ambiguity these last couple of weeks and kind of staying in touch and everything. But besides a couple of injuries, we have the full squad coming back. You know, most of our girls are at campus as well, and they'll be flying to meet us next Friday. So we're feeling confident about that. And kind of going back to what you said there, you know, if you've been in the game as long as a lot of us have, and myself included, there's a lot of times where you feel like, man, we got the short end of the stick. Man, this is just an unlucky or unfortunate turn of events that caused us to not get this particular opportunity, or this what might have been. And so whenever, and again, these girls had nothing to do with it, but our girls, to tell them and say, hey, there's been teams of the past and different sports even that they just didn't get this opportunity. Now you've been handed an opportunity. You played well. You know, we can complain about, oh, we should have had a PK that first game. We don't feel like that loss was even a fair loss. I really feel like, you know, they've played better and better and better, and they've really, every time they've had the opportunity, they've stepped up. And so now, you know, honestly, on behalf of these other squads that may not have had the opportunities fall their way, we owe it to them to go out there and play our best. And you know, we don't have any apologies to make. You know, we're building a strong team. The girls are a strong squad. They really come together. I mean, through all different kinds of kind of just turmoil and things that have happened throughout the season. And the injuries, again, have been kind of outrageous for an 8-week span. and yet the girls have just kind of plugged along, and they're ready to go. And honestly, they're in their best form right now, which sometimes you can't predict those things. And I know Megan was talking about, Calgary wants the rest. We didn't really want the rest. We wanted to keep playing because the girls are continuing to just get better. They're already fit, but they're hungry as well. So we've been working really hard to have some scrimmages, bring out some other players out there to keep us in game form. So we're probably doing it a little different. We don't want to rest a lot. We want to play, work, and just kind of be ready and keep going.
Megan?
Great.
So we kind of talk about that unfinished business with last year making it to the national championship, but without putting words in Athenians' mouths, I would say disappointing because you're a quality team, and I think high expectations going into it. But you got that second chance this year. You're going back. What do you think is going to be the difference going into it this year compared to going into a national championship last year?
The challenge is, there's so much turmoil in the rosters, right? Because we have girls going pro and we have girls going back to college, or girls whose summers they're not able to come play in one particular year or next. So, honestly, the people who have kind of been there, done that is mainly the coaching staff, the admin, the support staff, and those things. And I'll tell you, we'll be ready. And so you kind of look at it and you'd like to say, oh yeah, last year's experience, we'll build on it. But really it's a completely new roster, for the most part. And so the girls that are coming in, I do think that last year the coaches can lean into some things where, maybe they were a little bit timid, or maybe they were a little bit like, okay, this moment's kind of overshining us right now. We're kind of nervous and we're just not putting our best foot forward. But we have so many girls now who have already competed at the highest level. Some exciting news coming after the season about pro contracts and opportunities in Europe and things, to where this is a stepping stone. And really, I really think that if we change the narrative a little bit, and we change the mindset of the players, and we've already begun to do that this week, and we'll do it a lot more as we get closer to the championship game. They'll come out there and just play. And that's what they need to do, because we really do have, we have a fantastic defense. We have a goalkeeper who is just stopping everything. And we have an attack that we can score goals from everywhere. Really, we're not depending on one or two players. Last year, the team was dependent on the strongest players. And now I could not predict who would be the woman of the match, like any of the 11 plus the bench. Like, we've had girls come off the bench and they get the big purple sombrero and get to take a picture with a big ugly white guy with a big beard and everything. And so those are tremendous opportunities. So I really would think that when they go out there, they're going to go out there and play. But yeah, from one year to the next, I really think it's the coaching staff and the technical director and the support staff that says, hey, let's do these things differently so that we allow the girls to be in a position to perform their best.
So that means, I guess, a couple of the girls who played this season aren't going to be at nationals. Are there girls on the team now that are going back to college?
No, they're all going to join us on Friday. So they are back at college and they're training, and we're in communication also. Now, understand that they're already going back to a situation that is now going to be their primary focus, right, for fall. And so maybe someone who's playing the 10 for us is now going to play the 9 or the 11. And so I don't want to say, oh man, it's business as usual. They're training Athenians way and they're going to be ready for us. No, it's not that perfect of a situation. But everyone from Olivia Wright, the Texas State striker, to Jillian Martinez, the number 10 from Texas Tech, and all the ones that we have there, they're all going to be flying and meeting us. So the only ones we're missing are the ones that we are out for the season. But even them, we're still training with them. We still have them in the athletic trainer program. They're still doing their rehab. And, Enzi and Emma Bates and some of our strong girls that we've lost just from our, temporary season, man, they are doing great as well and everything. So, it's an overall program. So we're excited. But yeah, we'll have a full squad, probably as full of a squad as we've had since probably the second game of the season.
Interesting. I have a question, and maybe John, Megan, Kayla, you can help me with this one too. But as we all know, the FC Austin Elite squad dissolved. Would there be any way to take on any of those players? Say maybe there's one or two from that squad, or is it against league regulations?
As of July 5th, rosters are frozen. So no player movement is allowed to happen. It can happen in UWS League 2. The director of operations over there has overseen some of those changes and will continue to allow that because players need game time, especially the high school kids who are looking to get a Division I opportunity here in the coming weeks. But rosters were frozen as of July 5th, so no movement can be made for any team. And obviously, Coach Leland doesn't need to take on any players. He's got a stacked roster. As we look at Instagram and see all the purple sombreros, My team wants to make green sombreros since we're the Celtic, and my U9s are like, well, we got to have the sombrero. Why does Coach Hammonds get a sombrero? Well, guess what? We're going to get a sombrero.
Oh,
Okay.
it's beautiful. Well, let me jump in. We've been in contact with a few of those girls. You know, the thing that people forget is they think that we're all rivals, right? We're rivals with San Antonio Runners and we're rivals with the FC Austin Elite. But when you see the girls get to the game, they go and hug 8, 10, 12 of their opponents, right? Because they've either played with them all through the ranks and at club and at ODP, or these are college teammates even. And so we're really in touch with them. And I mean, our girls and their girls in particular, I think the two teams, FC Austin Elite squad and the Athenian squad, has really formed a really good bond. You know, the Friday that we had our second match with them, we were in contact with them and supporting them and, you know, sharing opportunities, sharing, you know, all different things. I've actually been in touch with them. I had to let them know about the roster freeze as well. But we've talked to those girls too about, you know, continue to train and here's some other opportunities and here's some things that could do. So a lot of times people think, you know, we're these really big rivals. But honestly, these girls, we're one big team. We're one big team in the Southwest Conference. And really, I believe we're one big team in the UWS. And so, you know, we definitely, you know, we feel for their situation. I was a player many, many, many moons ago, and a similar situation happened. A coach and some different decisions that had happened ended up affecting us. So we weren't able to go. And so I remember it to this day. It's probably been 25 years, but it feels like it was 25 minutes ago. And so our girls have been kind of reaching out to them as well and just saying, hey, this is the next step. It's just an experience. It's a step on your journey and you're going to be better for it. And I really believe that a lot of those players in particular are going to have their own unfinished business and they're going to be ready to train and play in summer of soccer 2023 for sure.
Coach, you're aging
I
us
love
with the gap here of 25 years, man. You got to stop it. We already give it away in our beard and the fact that our hairline is going away, and now you're putting out numbers out here. Come on, man.
Sorry, my bad.
Kaylor, question for Coach.
I mean, look, there's no question that this offense is ridiculous. I mean, it's been goals by commission every single match, really. I mean, like you said, you don't know where it's coming from. If you don't know where it's coming from, then the defense doesn't either. But speaking of defenses, your defense has been incredible this year. And like you said, thanks to some very good goalkeeping play, which, I mean, does it help that it's some of the nicest goalkeeper uniforms in the league? Maybe. But, I mean, what have you seen out of this defense and your keepers this year that's made them a step above the rest?
You know, I think it's twofold. One, we have a very distinct change in philosophy and attacking patterns of play this year. And so we've had a lot more of the ball. Last year, we didn't really play through the midfield. Last year, we played long ball. I know that has a bad connotation, but we did play long, and we were in a different formation, 4-4-2. And it was just a much different style. And so when you have a lot more of the ball and when you possess and when you have the other teams chasing and pressing you and wearing themselves out, then it makes your defense look, I don't say even better because they're fantastic defenders, but they're not having to defend nearly as much this year. And, you know, with Eve Clarkson, which, you know, again, I've in all my correspondence with the league, I say she's the defensive player of the year. And if not, I riot. My one person riot, probably not going to be that effective, but I'm still going to do it. I've not seen a center back take charge of a game the way that she can. And I mean, she's awesome in the air. She's awesome 1v1. She's a slide tackling machine. She covers for both her left back and her other center back. And when she steps in front of a ball and intercepts a ball, she's going coast to coast. Like it's like Steph Curry up in here and she's going to shoot from three and she's just going and just, it's amazing. And I feel that way about all of our defenders. We even have, our fifth defender. I felt terrible because none of our other defenders have had any injury problems whatsoever. And I'm like, we've got a girl here playing 20 minutes a game that is a lockdown, shutdown defender as well. But because they focused on possession, because they focused on kind of opening up and playing for each other, we've had a much better, more confident defense. Now, again, if we could draw Calgary or whoever we draw, we're going to have to, they're going to have to lean on some activities and lean on some fundamentals that maybe we haven't had to lean on in a long time. And so I've actually got some teams coming out next week to scrimmage and train and play with us. And we're going to, not just Calgary, of course, we respect all the opponents, but to say, hey, if we don't have 70% possession and we're the ones on the back foot or we're the ones defending, what are the things that we're going to need to do here and everything? And that's when you start looking at the depths of the conference and the scheduling and things like that. It's important because if we play a team that plays a style that we really haven't seen here in the Southwest, are the girls going to be adaptable or not? And that's our job as coaches to prepare them as much as possible. But I'm with you. The defense has been, absolutely incredible. And from a chemistry standpoint, everyone leans on it and we look to them, and the stronger that they are and the way that they pump everybody up, because really on the attack, it can be anybody. And, you might even you might not play as much as you thought you were going to play because there's just so many strong players there. And yet when you see the defenders continuing to be kind of our North Star and the things that we can depend on and everything, I feel like the defense is really going to show out next weekend.
I think one of the things to think about, coaches, as you prepare for this is there's obviously unknowns, right? You've got 4 teams still to punch a ticket to Ludlow. How do you prepare? How do you get ready? I mean, it's a short turnaround, obviously, because you've got one team finishing today, another team finishing tomorrow. What's the week look like besides, the players training and practicing? What's it like on your side as a technical director to prepare for all 3 teams as you guys get ready to head out to Ludlow?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and the correct coachy answer is we're just going to take care of ourselves. We're just going to play our way. But in an 8-week season, you do have to prepare for different teams. You do have to have different scenarios, and not only do we have our youth program who has lots and lots of strong ECNL players that are going to come out. I mean, I'll put a jersey on them and put a number on them because we know the number from this particular team. Here's where she plays. Here's her heat map, and here she is. And I'm going to have that little 10th grader, and I'm going to put my arm around her and say, you do this, you do this. You can play however you want, attack, shoot from distance, and so we're starting to kind of give them pictures, and I always call them triggers. We're giving them triggers in practice this next week so that they, on Saturday, whoever it is, they go, ooh, we've prepared for this. Okay, yeah, this is the girl that we were talking about. Okay, yeah, we are going to man mark this girl right here. Or, she roasts us once and then maybe puts it wide and we go, coach does know what he's talking about. So many times, they're like, oh, yeah, coach always says all of our opponents are tough and to respect all of them and all these things. Well, you're about to step on the field with the best of the best. And that's the period. And if you're not ready to go, you're going to get exposed. So you're going to want to be out there. I really do think that an effort also, in women's soccer a little bit, I think, I'm very critical about, okay, how are we coaching them? How are we training them? How are we doing it? And I think work rate's going down a little bit in general. And I'm just talking about all over the league. It's like, okay, I play this through ball and now I'm just going to kind of walk / jog / kind of shift and be prepared for the next phase and everything, when we need midfielders running beyond the forwards. We need to start to, combine and have third man runs. And we're going to need to start to man mark and follow this girl around and quit letting her just dominate this game. And, it drives me crazy. Even with our players, sometimes they come in and I'm like, wow, number 10, really, she's really dominating the game. And they're like, which one's number 10 again? And I'm like, okay, you're trying to drive me crazy here. So, you look at the game and there's a certain aspect of play your game and do your thing. But I'm an old school coach, and, preparation for me is very, very important. So knowing your opponents, knowing who their keys are. We're a tough one to prepare for, as Kaylor said, right? I mean, I can't tell you who's going to have a great game. I feel like Jillian Martinez is going to dominate, but that's probably about it. But the other teams are going to have that same problem as well. And yet when we look across the league, there's usually 1 or 2 girls that you're like, we cannot let this girl beat us. And so we have to go in there and train and be prepared and everything. So that'll be my job. And like I said, we do have some resources with really, really strong players that we can bring to practice. So we're going to train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. We're just going to take the one day off depending on how the girls kind of look. I've also got a possibility of a friendly and some things that we may do possibly on Tuesday as well, so that we stay in game shape and getting ready to go. But of course, some of our strongest players are at college. So, you look at it and go, okay, how much worth is that versus the risk of a possible injury and things? So there's a lot to weigh, but we're going to be prepared for sure.
You bring up a good point in kind of the defensive mindset. I was at Coach Setien, former FC Barcelona coach, brought up a great point that I if I was a kid and heard this, it'd make a difference. It's easier to go forward 10 yards in a press than it is to have to go 30 yards back to defend. So a lot of what you guys do with the Athenians is you get into bodies, you guys get into contact right away. As soon as that has a restart or anything, you're constantly up and into somebody's grill trying to change or pressure the ball into a mistake, which I think is helpful. And so I just want to bring light to that because I think that's going to be a key point going forward for you guys and hopefully get you one step closer to a national championship. Katie, Kaylor, Megan, any final questions for Coach before we let him go? Because I know today's a day off. It's a paddleboarding day, Coach.
Oh, let's go. Come on. I'm going to the Nueces. I don't know if you know nothing about Texas, but oh man, see all the way to the bottom. I'm jumping in at the Quince, 15 feet deep. Oh, we're gonna have a party. We're taking the kids out. It's gonna be great.
Awesome.
I
Katie?
can imagine you guys definitely need that downtime. It's been a crazy season. But I was going to say, even bigger question, which Ryan brought up in the live stream here, is how are you going to get that sombrero all the way to Ludlow?
It's a carry-on. I'm gonna wear it if I have to. It doesn't
There you
matter to
go.
me. We're,
That's
you
what
know,
I like.
and then I'm moving people's stuff. I'm breaking all the airport faux pas. I don't care. We're moving your stuff. Look at this magnificent, fashion statement. You can't be setting your old carry-ons on and everything. It's certainly going to be there. I tell you, it's a legend. We actually misplaced it the last game. Ryan will be upset with me for mentioning it. We misplaced it. We looked everywhere. We called everywhere. We forgot to look in the locker room, of course. But the game was over, and we went and apologized to the player of the game. Said, "Oh, we don't have the." And they all go, "It's in the locker room, coach." Oh, sprinted over there, put it on, and everything. So it's we can't lose it even if we were trying. So it's a legend.
You guys need to start the sombrero diaries of the Athenians and just take that bad boy on a journey and document all of it.
For me, the funniest thing that's happened is we have these little kids, the little programs, even the ones that aren't associated with Soccer Central, our facility, we've been inviting out and they've been watching practice or they've been coming and hanging out. I'm really big about our girls being big sisters and being examples for all of these. So we have these little, U10, U11 girls teams that come out and they get to walk out with both teams, right? But now the word is out that if your person that you walk out with and hold their hand and you're their mascot and you go out there wins the sombrero, you get to wear this little Athenian's crown as well and walk around. And the unintended consequence, though, is these girls are already so clever as well. As they line up, they look up, and sometimes they don't like who they're walking out with because they don't think that that's going to be a person that could be the player of the game. And so it has been hilarious. The girls have a great spirit about it, but a girl looks and she goes, "Yes!" Because, again, these are 9-year-olds that know the team. And they're like, "Yes, I'm walking out with Keely. She scored 3 last time. I've got a chance to be the player of the game as well." So maybe I didn't mean for it to be such a slam or a slight to our girls, but it has been hilarious. And the girls take it. And it's been a great lesson. If a 9-year-old who's been to one of our practices and watched a game on a stream or has come out to one game knows our roster and team like that, it's very important, and not to make it serious again, but it's very important how we act on social media, the things that we do. These little eyes that aren't even your siblings, there aren't even, people that you interact with regularly are watching very closely. So for me, as the technical director and as someone who wants sustainability in the program moving forward, these are the important things, right? This is all temporary stuff and it's fun to talk about and we're excited. We want to win a national championship too. But more important to that is the lessons that our girls are learning now. But more importantly, hopefully they're going to be in these mentors and encouraging the rest of these girls and the younger generation. So that's the one, if I had to say there was a priority, our priority is the youth. And I'm glad in the temporary that we're playing well, and I'm glad we're going out there, but it really is important that there's bigger fish to fry. And we're really proud. Again, we put it in the press release. We're proud of the girls. We're proud of the girls in their community work. We're proud in their mentorship. We're proud of the way that they treat each other. And then when they go out to their next teams and they go out to their campuses or maybe their next pro opportunities and everything, they carry the lessons that they've learned with us there. And now they're going to go ahead and go impact as well. I've already talked to our girls who are signing in Europe in a few weeks that you're going to have to find a girl. And, it's the sombrero. Maybe it isn't a sombrero. I'm not the most cultured, so I don't know exactly what's going on in Spain or Sweden or anything, but find these younger players and mentor them the way you were mentored and continue to build those relationships going forward. So yeah, that's something that we're really proud of.
I'm going to say this to Ryan. The NBA Finals trophy has a giant Louis Vuitton bag or box that it comes in. I think there needs to be a Louis Vuitton knockoff hat bag or hat box that we can make that thing travel in, and we'll I think Megan on Friday night could even bedazzle it a little bit. Maybe Saturday morning, Megan, we'll make it even more.
I was going to say, just get a cardboard box and draw LV on it.
There we go.
I like it.
Actually buying a Louis Vuitton box, which is probably worth more than who knows.
Comes out of Ryan's
bag alone is like a small car, like an old used car. So yeah, crazy, but yeah. Yeah.
Well, panel, any last questions for Coach before we let him go jump in the clear waters of Texas?
The Nueces. Oh, yeah.
No,
Nothing from me. Just enjoy your day, and we're looking forward to seeing you at Ludlow next week.
We can't wait. The girls are, we have them watching these shows and they're excited too. Again, you haven't given us enough bulletin board material yet. So when I get off here, if you don't mind, talk about how you don't really think we're the team to beat. And, I need a little bit more if you don't mind and everything. And then I'm going to clip
Deal.
it. Ryan will clip it and he'll send it out and everything. And then they'll be looking for you Friday night.
Just lower those expectations. Yeah.
We want you to enjoy your day, Coach. We're going to have more shows this week to prepare us. And so who knows, maybe something comes up, unfinished business, tagline. Just don't give us any tongue twisters for national championship weekend, will you?
I'll speak with Ryan.
Awesome. Well, hey, Coach, enjoy the rest of your day. It's a beautiful Saturday. It's already getting warm here in California. I can only imagine how humid it's getting in Texas, my friend. And we'll see you Friday evening.
Everybody, thanks. We appreciate what you do for us. We appreciate what you do for the UWS and for the exposure of women's soccer, and keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome. Cheers, Coach. Enjoy it.
Cheers.
See you soon. All right. We're at that time. This has been the longest show of the year, but we've had more guests. We've had a lot of awesome conversations. Final thoughts before we head out for the weekend. Kayla, I know you're going to go take a nap. You got some other things to do. Look, Kaylor is so tired, he's on Twitter having to type in caps so he can see what he's typing. That's how bad it is.
I'm just yelling. I got to make sure people hear me through my, echo chamber of like 3 people who like my tweets.
Oh, there's 4. You're okay. You're doing all right, man. You're making it.
Let's go.
No. Here, no.
We're
There's
blowing
one
up.
now. There's one now. There's one.
Going viral.
I got you. Take care of you, man.
Nah.
Megan, Katie, anything to talk about? Do we have any talking points? You guys, something you're excited to see this weekend? 2 games on 11 today. Chicago Courage, not the Chicago Courage, but Chicago Mustangs versus KC Courage. Kaylor says 2-1 there. Then tomorrow, FC Buffalo traveling to Coppermine, which will be a big matchup. I'm actually just seeing the goals from yesterday from Buffalo as they're tweeting out last minute, which is nice. But predictions. Kaylor says 2-1 Courage. Katie, what are your thoughts on the KC Courage Chicago Mustang match?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. The Mustangs have always been such a great, consistent team. They've always done really well, always great at really staying connected in the back line. And, I think KC Courage has had a few moments to shine as well. But I think when it comes down to who's going to really take that game, my bet would be with the Mustangs on that one. And, I think, a 2-1 match, while it's not a huge knockout blowout game, it still says a lot because as like UWS, right? High quality soccer, right? So I think a 2-1 win in the UWS is a great win. So yeah, very, very indicative of a quality team. So I would
obviously Megan and I have to be partial to this because we're going to be announcing those games in Ludlow. So we can't be giving away spoilers. But the next match is Coppermine FC Buffalo. We've seen a lot from FC Buffalo, Katie, in our 2 years together. What do you think you got from Buffalo versus Coppermine tomorrow?
I think it would probably be a very similar scoreline as the Chicago and Courage game with FC Buffalo taking it. I think they've been just such a really great quality team. I mean, coach is amazing, always makes great coaching points. I mean, key subs at the right time. So I really think that that FC Buffalo is going to take that one. But other than that, no serious additional key points for me on that one because it has been a minute since I've seen either FC Buffalo or the other team play. Yes. So it's been a minute, but the last time that I did see them play, I was really impressed with FC Buffalo. Yeah.
Well, we shall see. Ludlow next weekend. We've got Foothills out of Calgary. We've got Athenians out of San Antonio, Texas represented. But we'll see what happens with will we see a Chicago or KC, or are we going to see a Buffalo Coppermine team? We will see. Again, next week we start coverage. Will start live probably Thursday evening from the hotel lobby in Ludlow, and then we'll go from there Friday night at the dinner. we have one. And then Saturday, obviously, Megan and I will be bright and early with you two for the playoff national championship kickoff show live from the hotel lobby. We'll steal people as they walk behind us to get bananas and muffins and stuff like that at the hotels, or we'll just have a conversation. We'll see. Who knows? Yeah. Well, you four, or you three, four, I'm looking at mine thinking I'm not talking. I appreciate everything. This has been a good season. It's been fun. We've got one more weekend together. One more. And then we go on our summer journeys and figure everything out. But final thoughts, Katie, final thoughts before we head out.
I love that your dog was making a cameo this whole episode. He
stole one of my golf balls out of my bag.
So cute. Little bulldog.
Little Kong. He is not little. He is 75 pounds of just pure beef.
He's thick.
He is a thick dude. He 2 years old, so he's only gonna get bigger, and it's kind of scary to think that that's gonna happen.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, but I mean, aside from that, it's been an incredible season. We've seen some incredible soccer, and I really am grateful to just be able to share this space with you guys and to, really stay tuned or in tune with, this league. It's such an amazing league. As the Athenians had mentioned, like they have girls going to Europe, they have girls going to college, they have girls signing with Racing Louisville. And so it's just such an incredible league, and it does so much for women's soccer. And again, just like happy to have been a part of it, and next show I will be here for the full time. My apologies for the tardiness. I had another show, and I told Megan, I was like, if it ends and you guys are still live, I will be there. And so here I am. Better late than never, I guess. But
this is true. This is true. Taylor, final thoughts.
I mean, yeah, listen, I'm pumped for next week. Could not be more excited. This has been my first year truly, fully following everything. I kind of watched from afar last year, and I was welcomed into the UWS community with open arms, and I cannot be more thankful for you guys and everybody who allowed me to just blabber on about complete nonsense. So that's been great. Yeah, cannot wait to see who is crowned champions. We all know who my favorite is, but hey, any of the 4 teams absolutely deserve it. They've worked their tails off to get here.
Megan?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure being on the show with the 3 of you, 4 of us. Even though you guys did leave me 1 week by myself, I'll forgive you.
You navigated it well.
By the way, you owned it. You took care of business, and I'm proud of you. Yes.
Thank you.
Great show. I watched it back.
Thanks. But yeah, get following these teams. Everybody is doing such amazing work in the community. The atmosphere at the UWS is just, we want to grow women's soccer. We want to create opportunities for current players and for players coming up. Every team is focusing on the future of women's soccer, and that's just an incredible thing to be a part of. So to my 3 co-hosts, thank you. To everybody who's joined us, thank you. And it's going to be an awesome weekend. We've got playoffs this weekend, national championship next weekend. Like, this is it. This is like the best part of the summer of soccer, and I'm just pumped.
Summer of soccer is in full effect going to next weekend, and then the party's over. But it's not over because we have the Summer of Soccer 2023, and preparations begin August 1st for that. So for my 3 co-hosts and myself and Kong, who has made a special appearance, we thank everybody for your time and energy, and we'll see you guys this week for recap shows and maybe another conversation with teams heading to Ludlow starting next Friday. So until then, cheers, everyone. We'll see you on the other side.
Cheers. Bye.
I'm a part of UWS because of the opportunity it provides women.
Because it provided me the competition and exposure I needed to get to where I am today.
Because financial transparency is important to me.
Because at its core and within its leadership, it is truly dedicated to the promotion of the women's game.
Because of the competitive pathway it provides female players and coaches.
Because it expands the pathway of our club and offers more opportunities for players to develop.
Because I too support women in sports. because of the people. I love competing at a high level with some awesome teammates and getting to compete against people around the country.
Because it provides female athletes with a much needed platform to remain in the game in a professional setting.
Because it's the best summer league in the whole country. There's no question about it.
Because of the commitment to diversity for the players, coaches, and administrators of the UWS.
Because I like the opportunity to compete at such a high level and the advancement of the women's game.
I am a part of UWS because I believe in its vision and its leadership.